Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys a couple of edge cases to the program. The first thing I'm going to do is make a circle. So I'll put in 3 and I'll put the circle up all the way in the top corner. So at 19, 19. And we can see the circle was mapped right here. Here's the center. But we don't see the entire circle. We only see a quarter of it, and the rest of it is going to be outside of our grid. And so this is how we want it to show up. If it's not in our grid, we don't want to see it. We just want to see the part of the circle that's inside our grid. And we don't want to see these places along the edge. We don't want to see those light up in red. We just want to see the part of the circle that's inside of our grid. Sometimes, depending on how you code it, it'll try to map the circle, but it won't have the space to, and it'll end up marking these edges right here that are not really part of the circle. We don't want to see that. We just want to see the part of the circle that is true to the actual shape that we're trying to make. Another edge case is making a point-to-point line, but putting both points at the same spot. So let's do red in the center of the grid, 9, 9, and then again we put in the same point, 9, 9. But when we do that, we just want to see a point. That's all we want to see. We don't want to see a line because we put in the same point twice. So that's something that your point-to-point line should be able to do. Another thing is the point-to-point line should be able to have any sort of slope at all. It can have zero slope, infinite slope. Infinite slope is just going straight up. Zero slope is just going completely flat. Or one slope, all the way across, any kind of slope at all. It can be really steep, really flat, anything. So let me show you that. If I go from, let's go X position 5, 1, Y position 5, and then I go from 5, 5, and I want to go straight up. So 5, 10. So we see that was with a point-to-point line, and it was able to go straight up. Same thing if we want to go straight across, we should be able to do that. So I'll start again from 5, 5, and then this time I'll go to 10, 5. And again, straight across. So that's what we want to see from the point-to-point line. And another thing, let's try to make a very steep line. So let's go to 4 again. And we'll start from 1, 1. And we'll end on 3, 19. That should be very steep. And so we see this line is very steep. And sometimes, depending on how you write your code, instead of seeing this line connected here by all these points, instead what you'll see is you'll put a very steep line and it'll be like you'll have a point here and then a point here. Like imagine your start point is here and then point is here. You'll have a point here, another point here, and another point here, and that's just 3 points. And that doesn't really convey a steep line. That kind of looks like 3 loosely connected points, and we don't want to see that. We want every sort of line, every shape that we made, every shape that we make, we want it to be connected to the next part of it by the next part being 1 position away. So here the next one is straight above this one, the next one is straight above this right here, the next position is straight across. So it's always 1 position away. That's how we want to see it. We don't want to see any gaps in your line, even if it's steep, even if it's very flat, which I'll show next. We want it to be connected always without any gaps. Another thing is this line is straight. All the lines are going to be straight from the point-to-point line. So if they're straight, they should be even from one side to the next side. So if we go here to the midpoint and we look down, this part on the bottom side of it is the same. If you reflect it and then you mirror it to the top part, it's going to look the same. That's because it's a straight line. So if you go to the middle and cut it in half, it's going to look the same on either side. It's going to be going in the same direction. So if you were to overlay this all the way up to the midpoint, if you were to overlay it up here, it would be the same. And that's what we want to see. Since it's a straight line, it should always be even. It shouldn't curve. Sometimes, depending on how you code it again, you might see your line go up, start from here and go up, 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 all the way to here. And then it'll change to the next X coordinate and it'll keep going up. And then at the very end, it'll like go right here. And so that's not really a straight line. That kind of is a curving line. So it starts and it goes a long way, and then it goes to the next coordinate, and it goes a bit more. Then at the very end, it goes to the last x coordinate. That's not a straight line, that's curving. For it to be straight, it has to go consistently from the first point to the last. And also the same thing with a flat line. 19, or no, we'll start up at 110, and then we'll go 1912. So there's a lot of things on screen now, but you can see the line is right here. This is the flat line. And again, same deal. Each dot is connected to the next dot that is one position away always. And the middle of the line is right here. And you can see one side of the line is the same as the other side of the line, reflected and mirrored. That's what we want to see. We want it to have no gaps and to be a straight, even line. That's pretty much it. Another quick thing, every time you make the point-to-point line, make sure that the dot that you start off at and the dot that you end up at, those have to be colored as well. So if my start point is here, my end point is here, those points should be colored as well, not just the points in between. So that's just another little thing. Now we can start our simulation, and same deal as before. And see if we get an earthquake. We got 5. So again, multiple earthquakes, that's another thing but you already saw that from the previous example. So anyways, that concludes all the edge cases that you can probably see. There might be a couple more, but those are some of the more prominent ones that might trip you up. So good luck, guys.